Hey everybody, Rockbreaker here. I've got another story for you. This one took place a long time ago, and I was on well, let me start at the beginning. I went to work one Saturday morning. Back then I was a logger in northern Michigan, and I had a Honda 450 that I was in the process of turning into a chopper. I don't remember what all was done to it at that time. Probably not much, mostly stock. But I decided I'd ride my motorcycle to work one morning, and I had, I don't know, 40 miles maybe to get to where I had to work. It was about 30 miles of pavement and about 10 miles of woods road. And I rode out to our logging camp, and I just had gotten out there, and I had a little travel trailer I kept on the job that I had my tools in, so I had my chainsaw and stuff there already, and just about ready to get working, and just got set up and started working, and it started to rain. Well, it was always a rule of thumb, when you work in the woods, that it's already so dangerous as it is that you don't ever work in the rain, because everything gets slippery and you can't get away from trees and stuff. And so it was always frowned on too, to work in the rain. So nobody did hardly. Plus, I didn't want to. So one of my buddies had another travel trailer, and he lived on the job. We had a bunch of people who lived on the job back then, and he had a travel trailer on the job, and I went and hung out in his trailer with him for a while, and he just happened to have a closet full of old Milwaukee beer, room temperature beer, and I was still drinking back then, and I decided I'd have a beer with him, or two, or three, or six, or ever how many it was, but I really honestly don't remember. But anyways, I had a snoot full, and I hung out in a couple hours, 3 hours there, and I decided that the rain had set in for the day, and I might as well just bite the bullet and head home. It was only going to get worse. And it was pretty cold. I imagine it was about 50 degrees, I would think. And I had a leather motorcycle jacket that I wore, and a 3/4 helmet, and some gloves, and just street clothes after that, and work clothes, work boots. And I headed home, and it was really cold. I remember being just miserable cold. And the rain was just one of them northern Michigan rains where it starts raining and it rains for 3 days nonstop, just drizzles mostly. And I had to come to an intersection. I was only a few miles from home, and I went around that intersection and taken off again, and I got up about 50 miles an hour, and the rear of my bike hydroplaned out from underneath me. And the bike instantly went down in the road. And I landed on my back, and the impact broke my helmet. It split a triangular piece of, I guess, plastic back then, right out of the back of my helmet, about 4 inches high and 3 inches wide, and it tore the back out of my coat. It ripped the coat right across the bottom of the back, and then that flap and whatever padding, whatever was in the coat, it stayed attached up at the shoulders, so that whole pad thing was under my head then as I was sliding down the road, helping, I guess. But anyways, in any case, it knocked me out. And I honestly don't know how long I laid there. In northern Michigan, you can lay in the road for 2 or 3 days before somebody comes along sometimes, and that's not an exaggeration, especially if the weather's bad. And so anyways, I eventually come to my senses, and I got up, and I was really cold. I could tell I was really hyperthermic and confused and disoriented and these things. And I got the bike back up and I got it back running, and I rode on into where I lived at the time, and I rode into my front yard, and I just let the bike fall over. I didn't even try to put it on a kickstand or anything, and of course it's all sugar sand there, so you have to find something to put on the kickstand and all that stuff, and I just wasn't into all that at the moment, and just let it drop, and I went inside, and my wife at the time, she immediately started accusing me of being drunk. And by now all the drunkenness is long gone out of me. I was just pretty much hypothermic and probably concussed, I would think. And in any case, I laid around there for a few days, not doing very much before I started feeling right again, but didn't really do a lot of harm. Didn't hurt me much. Nothing real serious. The bike had some bent handlebars, if I remember right, and oil had leaked out of it from laying on its side. But in case you don't know about them old 450 two-cylinder Hondas, they were pretty bulletproof bikes, but they were also really lethargic and underpowered. I can remember being in a high wind one time on that bike and not being able to get over 45 miles an hour top speed out of it. So anyways, there's another story, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to keep doing this. Thank you very much.